There's a way. All right, let's go SEC. As you mentioned, Felder, we got about 15 minutes left in the show. We got 3 more games to get through before we do our picks. If you're listening to us again and you want to hear the picks after, jump over to the YouTube channel. You can hear us go through the 12 biggest games of the weekend. Producer Dagan will jump in as well. We keep our records on those, so we'll make our official picks at the end of the show. But first, Florida against the number 1 team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs. This line right now, 22.5 points, is what Georgia is favored in this game. That's a lot of points for a team that did not cover that many points against Kent State and Missouri. And I'll just throw this out there. Florida did have a 1-possession ball game against the Tennessee Volunteers. Ball in Anthony Richardson's hands to make a play late. It didn't happen. So, look, I feel like I'm trying to talk you guys into upsets tonight.
Yeah.
But how shocked would you be, Felder, if Florida is in this game in the final 5 minutes?
10 out of 10.
Wow.
10 out of 10. Here's the thing. Here's a question. Is like we spend so much time talking about Anthony Richardson. Are there any other good players on Florida's offense?
Yeah, they should play Trevor Etienne a little more. I'm biased. Right? Look, I'm an Etienne fan. Look,
but right. So you have a guy.
Yeah,
a guy.
I don't know.
Who should they throw it to? Who do you think they should throw it to?
The open guy. I don't know. Look, I don't know. I'm on the same boat as you. Look, is just because
he can't do it by himself.
I don't even think what is he doing by himself though? I mean, I'm saying like even him, I think he had a lot of hype. Yeah, he had a lot of hype.
Yeah.
I mean, they did the whole Tebow thing beginning of the season.
Yes.
I remember they showed him like putting up the quarterbacks in the SEC. They were ranked higher than him, which they still are because they're playing better ball. I think the kid's super talented. You know what I'm saying? Like
I agree.
Like, when I was playing, like he looks like a freak. He makes spectacular plays, but they aren't consistent.
He doesn't make regular plays though.
Like that's the crazy part. One of the quotes we used to have was like, all right, you make the routine play all the time. You make the impossible play most of the time. He makes the impossible plays like most of the time. He never makes routine plays. And right. it's just tough to really build a sustainable, like really just the quarterback is the leader of the team for the most part, to build that around him when it's just not like it's not consistent. And so for me, I see Georgia really like I see Georgia embarrassing them. And mainly because I think the morale at Florida is one to get really up
and really down.
I think Florida and Tennessee have very similarities of like just program culture. Like if Florida would have been up this year, like their fan base would have been crazy. And you know what I'm saying? But it also isn't a crazy thing for Florida to be down. It's like, all right, this is just another year. Hopefully Bill Napier can turn that around. Here's
the thing I think is different. I think Tennessee fans, they're a lot more like NC State fans, where they're waiting for something bad to happen to them.
Right.
And Florida fans are more like USC fans, where they're like, why don't we score 100 points every game?
Right. They're a little more optimistic. That's a great point. I like that analogy. Look, and so I think Florida, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just think that and if they're going to win this game, they got to really have a strong belief system. And I feel like any adversity that doesn't go their way this game, I feel like it's going to go into the narrative like,
bingo.
All right, we're just going to suck this year. It's not going to work. So for them to win this game, they almost got to play super flawless the first 2 quarters. They got to be in the driver's seat going to the second half or something. But other than that, I can't see them fighting back and rallying back to get a win.
Let me ask you this. The top 100 passers. Let me check the numbers. Top 100 passers.
Don't do this.
I know where you're going to.
Completion percentage.
Oh, no.
He's not in the top 100 completion percentage.
No.
It's tough, man.
That's rough. And we're not talking about deep balls. We're talking about intermediate, shallow.
Right, just completing the ball. Yeah, I know.
And I don't want to bag on it. I never want to bag on kids. Like I'm not here to do that. Like the thing for me is when I look at it, he's got a long way to go.
Right.
So
I want him to get better. I want him to be there because he is like he only has 170 pass attempts this year through 7 games.
Let me flip this quickly because I don't think to your point, I don't think there's anybody out there who wants Anthony Richardson to get better than this very network. We spent 2 weeks at the top of the season.
Yeah,
we did.
Right stung in the CJ Stroud of college football. But look, against Tennessee, who I shouldn't make a comparison between Tennessee's defense and Georgia's defense, but
sure,
here we are. He had 453 yards passing against Tennessee, who's now the number 3 team in the country. And to me, that was a game because of the way Anthony Richardson played in that game. So, like, is there a world where he can do that again against this Georgia team, or are we just giving it no hope?
No, I don't think it's – I think it's definitely possible. It's possible. But to me, that's what it's going to take. For them to win this game, he's got to play like a Heisman contender. Even though he's out of the Heisman race, he's got to play like that caliber of player for them to have a chance.
Yeah,
that's it. Like Hendon Hooker is playing Hendon Hooker is the front runner for the Heisman. That's why Tennessee is doing what they're doing. In order for them to have a chance in this game, Anthony Richardson has to play like a Heisman contender.
Yeah, I also think that that's the idea of possessions, which we talked about a little bit with that Roy Williams analogy, where Tennessee was just going up and down and up and down and up and down. So he got more opportunities. He threw the ball 44 times.
Yeah,
he's only thrown the ball over 30 times one other time this season. So to me, one of the big things for me with football is, what does your coach let you do? And the first time I noticed this was with Jalen Hurts. With Jalen Hurts, they didn't let him throw the ball past, 12, 15 yards for the most part at Alabama? Because they were like, we don't trust you to do this. With Nick Marshall at Auburn, they didn't let him really throw the ball deep. And it's because they don't think you can do it. And with the exception of the Tennessee game, doesn't really throw the ball. And he certainly doesn't throw the ball far. And that's the part that's going to be interesting, because let's be real. The Missouri game, he threw for 66 yards. We want to go, let's flip it. Do we want to
right?
that
you got two extremes.
Don't flip it. Don't flip it. I'll speak for all Florida fans. Don't flip it. Don't flip it. We're good. Let's just talk about the game that he was.
No. Hang on. I'm doing the math right now. 453, that's 9. That's the 1, carry the 1, 519 divided by 2. So between those two games, Tennessee and in the Missouri game, Tennessee, that's 2, that's 4, 1.
We got some quick math going on.
5 right here. That's
quick
another
math.
119. So that's another 9. So that's 259 yards. That's the average between those two games.
Yeah, and that's not going to cut it against Georgia. Period.
Bingo. That's the point.
You're right. Yeah, he needs the spectacular version of himself that maybe comes out every 6 games, if we're being generous, in order to have a chance in this football game.
The Tennessee game was the best game that he's ever played.
Yeah.
Every other game, the Tennessee game's the best game that he ever had. And then the rest of the games are 168, 143, 112, 240, 66, and 185.
Yeah, and it still wasn't enough. So.
Yeah.
And you probably need more than that against Georgia.
But he needs help. He needs help.
Right.
He needs help.
Right.
Who's he throwing the ball to? I love this. I love their tight end, but who else?
The open guy.
What is it? Zipperer? Keon Zipperer, right? I like him. I think he's good. But like Justin Shorter, I thought was going to be a star when he was going to go to Penn State and play with Justin Fields, and then it didn't work out. Purcell is a guy that comes in and he's manageable, but he's not a superstar. Henderson is okay. I think Zipper is probably their best pass catcher, but they don't get him the ball nearly enough. So, like, you got to find weapons. And I don't think if you don't have weapons and you can't challenge Georgia and you can't make Georgia play into the 30s, into the 40s, where Stetson Bennett has to win the football game, because we haven't talked about Georgia. If you can't make Stetson Bennett win the football game, then what are we doing?